Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Funnel Trade. I had a conversation with a viewer in the comments section on a recent video where they very helpfully played devil's advocate, pointed out that Modern Horizons 2 is a higher quality product than Crimson Vow, and that you should expect Modern Horizons 2 then to have higher year over year return rates forever than Crimson Vow, and that I was essentially specking on Crimson Vow by advocating that people go ahead and buy draft booster boxes of it at $80 each. And I thought this was really interesting comment and very helpful. It got me thinking about things a lot. And I decided to trot out these three boxes as representative of the sets that they are in. And so I'm mostly going to be talking about the prices of draft and set boxes. I just wanted to fit these three in the frame to be placeholders for the set as a whole. So, Warren Buffett has famously said it's better to buy a great company at a good price than a good company at a great price. And that's what I kind of consider these first two to be. Modern Horizons 2 as an expansion is great. No one would argue that it is not a home run. There's so much value in the boxes. It's going to appreciate and age like wine as the years go on. It's just a wonderful set. And really, if you want to compare it to owning stocks, owning Modern Horizons 2 is like having shares of Amazon. You expect Amazon to continue to grow, to continue to create and capture new markets, to generate lots of revenue, lots of cash, decent margins, and to basically, for at least the next decade, maybe 2 decades, dominate nearly every industry that they're in, or at least come into new industries and steal a lot of market share. And so these are the kind of highest quality assets. But then you have things like Adventures in the Forgotten Realm. And, I was thinking about what company is a good comparison in the stock market to Adventures in the Forgotten Realm. And I think what I settled on was Boeing, the aircraft manufacturer. And the reason for that is they had a bunch of problems with their new plane crashing and killing hundreds of people. They've had all kinds of issues winning new military contracts for their military planes and helicopters too. And so they've just kind of hit this bad point in the life of the company from about late 2019 to now. They've had a lot of problems, lawsuits, and poor revenue, and then 2020 didn't help when aircraft travel shut down, so their commercial aircraft were not being bought as often. They were all parked, so they weren't selling spare parts and maintenance and training. And so the analogous set here, Adventures in the Forgotten Realm, it's just kind of beaten down, but ultimately there's a lot of value there. The negativity was high towards the set when it first came out, but we can expect in the long run that there will be good support for this product. The market will desire it. There will always be Dungeons and Dragons players who find out about this for the first time in the future and want to have a box just for the heck of it, or want to open a box or have some singles, and that will drive the singles market, which through arbitrage will drive the sealed product market. And then third, Crimson Vow, a distressed asset, I think we can safely say. It's beaten down, but maybe not fairly. And that's something that will only become apparent in retrospect in the future. Was Crimson Vow a terrible set? Was it released at the wrong time? Maybe it will age better in the future because while it's still in standard, more cards will be released that synergize well with it. But for now, it looks kind of grim, but the future may not look that way forever. And what I compared that with is actually Bitcoin. Bitcoin's in a situation right now where the price is way down off of all-time highs. The future looks murky, maybe great, maybe okay. I don't think the future looks bad at all, which in the case of Crimson Vow, the future isn't bad either. It's going to eventually go out of print. There will only be a finite amount in existence, and it will age. Now, it may not age as well as Modern Horizons. I don't think anyone expects it to, but it will age. And the question is, when you have assets like this, where you're looking at the difference between buying an Amazon, buying a beaten down Boeing, or buying a devastated Bitcoin, which one should you invest in? And I think the answer for me has always been all three. You need to have high quality assets. You need to buy those. But as Warren Buffett said, it's a business can be great, but it also has to come at a good price. And so if you're looking at buying Modern Horizons 2 set boxes, you know those boxes at $220 each? That's a great price. The draft boxes at $212, $215, not so great. But if you could get draft boxes at 205, maybe 200, that would be okay. And so you wouldn't always just buy Modern Horizons 2 at any price. If it was 260 or 280 for a draft box, you wouldn't pay that. You certainly wouldn't pay that for a set box either. And so Crimson Vow draft boxes at $80, that's a distressed asset. It's beaten down. It's probably lower than it should be. And going forward long term, there will be value there if you buy that. You should have some of it because it may only appreciate at 5 or 6 or 7% per year for the next 5 years. Or it may be that the market is just having an overly emotional reaction to it right now, and that rubber band will pop back in the future once it goes out of print and out of standard, and it may appreciate 10, 12, 15% per year because there just wasn't as much printed. And so you need to have exposure to all these types of assets. If you only focus on the highest quality asset, if you only buy the Amazons and companies like that, then you can end up in situations where you're paying too high of a price for high quality assets, and you miss out when you have something that the market has obviously mispriced, that is beaten down on emotion for now, or something that truly looks bad but could appreciate fine in the future. And it's important to just keep in mind that it's not all about hoarding the best quality assets all the time, because that carries its own kind of under diversification risk. So let me know what you think about this. It was really helpful, the viewer who posted the question in good nature, playing devil's advocate to me. And it got me thinking for several days. It's taken probably 4 or 5 days now for me to really assemble my thoughts on this. So let me know what you think. If you have any comments or something you think I'm missing or would be helpful for me to understand this more. And if you like this kind of content, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot, guys.